I know we've talked a lot about the process and the task management when it comes to content creation. And a lot of you have reached out to me and are like, but Evie, I don't even know how to create content and how to build the system around it and do things and do all the things. How do I even come up with all the content? Today, I'm going to show you behind the scenes, right before we're actually managing all of the tasks, how we create content, how we repurpose content, and how you make it really easy to create a bunch of content from one single piece of video. Okay, let's start in the beginning. This whole workflow works perfect if you are a content creator, if you are a social media manager, if you are an agency. It works for all of us. The one thing I recommend always is starting with a long form video, simply because it's easier to connect. And yes, you can turn written content into a video later, but it is so much easier to just have a long piece video content that you can turn into more things. And we're going to talk about how we do that and what we turn this one video in. Now, for my agencies out there, here's a couple of tips, or also regular business owners starting to create content. Back in my agency days, when we were the one recording for our clients, we ran into a couple of issues where the moment they saw the red light, yes, back in the day, those cameras actually had red lights that they're recording, they got silent and they were just like, and nothing happened. Some of the tricks were, yes, we taped up the red light actually. If you are filming for your clients and you are the one behind the camera, don't worry about them having to look at the camera. The moment you're like, look at the camera, they're gonna be like, start with offsite. Start with somebody looking into a conversation, have them talk at you to really just get comfortable on camera. Or, yes, we've done this, cut out a big face and just put it right behind the camera, so that the one talking to the camera feels like they're talking to a person. Yes, sounds funny, but it works. Now, before I take you into my visual of how we do all of these pieces of content, I want to make sure you understand the difference between repurposing and reposting. One of my big things is you are never going to get a like from me on Instagram if I see the TikTok logo on it. Sorry, you didn't take the 5 seconds to really just upload it natively. There's tools for that out there. You can do it. Take the 5 seconds and generate original content, please. Because that is reposting. Repurposing means we are taking one piece of content and turning it into something new. Now, how do we do that? Actually, fairly simple. As you can see right here, yes, we are starting with a YouTube video. That's where everything starts. Because if you are passionate about what you are doing, you're going to be able to talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You just need to be comfortable talking to a camera, and that's an easy fix. Talking like that and getting it done is so much easier than being in the thought and writing it down. I know Mike Alton would not agree with me on that one, but for most of it, just get us talking and suddenly we have hours of content. Now, if you do your video recording right and you go right frame on your recording, there's a really simple trick where now you can edit this long form content and you cut it off right here. Now, suddenly we have micro content and short video. Again, please repurpose, not repost. Don't take a widescreen video and just shove it into a portrait style video. Please don't. There is some nice things on using them in feeds and making them square, but it really looks bad in stories. Just don't do it. There is ways to edit your video to really make them look like an original piece of content. And nobody's gonna be mad with you. If you wanna get an example on that, go check out Think Media. They have done an amazing job of having your full widescreen long form content and then have those knowledge bites nicely edited in the portrait style. And it's not in your face. Yes, we know they're repurposing a YouTube video, but it's not like, oh, you didn't take any time, you're just slapping it out there, right? We want to engage our viewers. Now, those micro videos, as we all know, can be posted on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and I think LinkedIn still has stories. Facebook is pushing their stories, YouTube Shorts, anywhere and everywhere. Now, from this YouTube video, we are taking the transcription and we are cleaning up the transcription, which then gets uploaded again to YouTube so that our ASL community actually can read what we are talking about. Accessibility should be a given. Guilty on that too. I don't always do it, but I'm really paying attention to, because I've seen a lot of my community who have hearing issues or are deaf. Please pay attention to that, especially when you have an accent like mine. We then take this transcript and we turn it into social media posts. Really simple. You should have knowledge bites in your video, right? That's what you are talking about. You are teaching somebody something. Grab these knowledge bites, edit them a little bit, add a call to action, and there you have your social media posts to be used all over your platform. Then we take that transcription and turn it into a blog post. Now, for the blog post, we actually have two different ways of how we approach blog posts. If it is just sharing our video, we do a short description on the top that hits those keywords too, which your transcription should too, because you did your research for the YouTube video, I hope. And then after that transcription and just giving them the intro to what we are talking about in the video, we have the transcript on the bottom. That's our repurposing blog post. If it is cornerstone content, meaning there is more information to it, I want you to be able to read through the steps, have images with it, and it is really a cornerstone blog post. We take the transcription and turn it into a blog post with specific steps, with additional imagery, with all the things, and potentially even more content than we had on the video, because we are trying to stick with a video on like around 10-12 minutes. Now, those blog posts, take a few of those blog posts and turn them into a workbook. Combine this information and the different steps to a workflow or a system, whatever you are talking about, and combine it into a workbook. Now, a combination of those workbooks, you can turn that easily into a course. You see where we are going? We cut down on our content and really focused on one specific issue in our YouTube video. Then we also turned that into a blog post. Now we take multiple of these issues that we covered, the information people want to know, the content we are creating to market ourselves, and we are going up again. We are chunking up again to combine all of these pieces and make it into a bigger piece of content that then funnels down into a course. Now, some of you will be like, but Evie, I'm giving all of this information out on YouTube. Who would pay for it? The ones that do not want to go dig through your YouTube channel, try to figure it out, and how do they work with each other, and they are not necessarily paying for the collection of YouTube videos. And by the way, they should be hosted separately. Don't use the YouTube videos in your course. They are paying for you saving them hours and hours and hours and hours. Did I mention hours of time? Now we get that one out of the way too. Now, there is specific pillar content where you're like, yes, this is right down my alley. This is perfect target market. I want this to go even further. Take these, rewrite those, and get them up on Medium to have a secondary platform to get your content out. You can also use LinkedIn and post your, I don't even know what it's called over there. Newsletter? They have newsletters now, but they also have long form content on there. Make use of it. Repurpose your content. I'm going to talk about in the next video what the tools are we use to make this easier, because rewriting the content you already written is actually not that difficult. Then right there, look at it. LinkedIn article. I'm actually mentioning it down here, as well as talk about it in your email newsletter. How is your newsletter gonna know about it if you are not telling them that content is there? Now imagine, I literally had to cut this down because we only have so much room in here that you still can see what's happening. This is scalable. So if you are a marketing agency, you can take this, and this is exactly what we are doing in the ClickUp template, and you can scale this to wherever you want to scale it to. If you haven't subscribed yet, we are talking about all the tools you need for this to make this even easier on your team in the next video. And if you're wondering what this task content template thingy is I've been talking about, I show it right here. And yes, I do have this template ready to go for you on my academy, so you can just plug and play. And last but not least, have you subscribed yet? I'll see you in the next video where I share all of the tools that help you make this happen.